Well, howdy do, folks. Here's kind of a funny, big news story for today. I don't even know what to say. Well, I'm a big Leprechaun fan. You know, I'm always supporting Leprechaun. I got a Leprechaun fan page on Instagram. I'm like the main, Leprechaun guy out there for Leprechaun news and, anything Leprechaun. Yeah, little plug there. Leppy Laddie. That's me. But I'm on Instagram. Years ago I said I'd never do Instagram, but now I really like it. I've actually had more success with Instagram than YouTube or anything now, I think. And people love the cameos and got me doing witchy poo to the point where I'm like breaking out literally from wearing that damn mask. But anyway, on to the story. I'm a big Leprechaun fan, and back in, I believe it was March, or maybe it was late February. I think it was late March this year. Felipe dropped out of the new Leprechaun reboot that was announced 2 years ago. When I met Warwick Davis back in 2023, I brought up to him, about the new Leprechaun movie. And he didn't seem like he was, too game to come back. I don't think he's coming back, honestly. I'd like to see him back in some ways, a cameo or something, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I think he is 100% done and he's moved on. But, yeah, the Leprechaun reboot has been in development hell for the past 2 years and hasn't really gone forward or anything. But we finally got an update back in March, and Felipe's dropped out. And nobody really knew the reason why. I kind of figured, creative differences. He didn't like how the script was going. I heard some problems with the script from some of my connections. I heard that the script was kind of a mess, and they were trying to do some rewrites and trying to get it right. And that was the last I heard, and that was 2024, last year, a year ago. And I haven't really heard any updates with it till, March of this year, and I haven't heard another word since. But we got an article online stating that Felipe dropped out for Bob the Builder. Believe it or not, Bob the Builder, Leprechaun reboot director, shares tainted update following his to Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder. You're going to turn down Leprechaun for Bob the Builder? Maybe because Jennifer Lopez is in the project? And what the hell is Jennifer Lopez even doing in Bob the Builder? I don't even know what to say. But he says in the article here about Leprechaun, it's a classic. It was Jennifer Aniston's first film, but unfortunately, I'm no longer working on that project. But my next project is very far cry from horror. I'm going to be doing a reboot of Bob the Builder, the kids show, with Jennifer Lopez and Anthony Ramos. It's in Puerto Rico now. It's a really beautiful story of building a home, building a community, and what that means. So he turned down a Leprechaun reboot for Bob the Builder. Wow. I am at a loss for words. And he was coming out with a horror movie recently. I think it came out in May. Rosario. That's like his, his new horror movie. I think it was in theaters for like a couple of days. Not sure. But I'll still watch this. But, Bob the Builder, I think I'm a little past that. I'm going to be 38 on Monday. So, yeah, Bob the Builder is not on my to-watch list. But, I wish him good luck with the project. And that is a big, big change from Leprechaun to go to Bob the Builder. All I can say is Bob the Builder must have been a better deal. But I wish you good luck with the movie. Because I did talk to Felipe about a year or two ago. I think it was about a year ago. And I wish him good luck on the Leprechaun reboot. And he thanked me for my page. Because, I got a fan page on Instagram. I'm always posting Leprechaun. I've met Warwick Davis. I've spoken to Lennon Porco. I know all the Leprechaun people. And I'm kind of like, the guy to go to for, Leprechaun. And, when they announced the reboot, I was kind of surprised that it was even happening. Sorry about that. Message popped up from somebody. I was surprised we're getting another reboot because we already had, Leprechaun Origins in 2014. And then in 2018 we had, Leprechaun Return. So there's 2 reboots right there. So now this is the third reboot, if it happens. And there's been a lot of people that have expressed interest in taking on the project. And, Michael Levy, who I've met before, a great guy, very, very nice guy. He's worked on the Terrifier movies, and he's also an actor, and he's a director. If you haven't seen Screamboat, I recommend that one. Kind of reminded me of Leprechaun a lot. David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown, he was in that one, played like a killer Mickey Mouse. And that movie kind of reminded me a lot of Leprechaun. And he was behind that project as one of the producers, I believe. And he helped out with the Screamboat. He's helped out with Terrifier, 1, 2, and 3. They got Terrifier 4 in the works. And he's directed, the recent horror movie Stream. But if you like slashers, you'll like that one. Mark Holton's in that one, too. Is the janitor guy, something Oswald Hansen. I think that's his name, Oswald Hansen. Instead of, Ozzie Jones, Oswald Hansen. That's what they called Mark Holton in Leprechaun. He was called Ozzie. His last name was Jones, though. A lot of people don't know that. And the Leprechaun actually has a name. His name is Basil. There's a guy on YouTube, the Myers Fan 25. If you watch him, he did an interview with Mark Jones, and Mark Jones revealed the Leprechaun's name is Basil. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think his name is Lubden, because there was a Leprechaun comic and they called him Lubden, but his actual name is Basil. And my old friend from Australia used to go by Basil Horny. That was one of his characters. I always remember that, Basil Horny. That was a funny one. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the Leprechaun reboot. I really hope Michael Levy gets it. I really do. He's a great guy, and he's a big Leprechaun fan. I know Darren Lynn Bousman, he wanted to do a Leprechaun movie for years. I haven't heard much from him, though. I reached out to him a couple times, and he hasn't really said anything about Leprechaun, so I think he's kind of, he's kind of moved on too past Leprechaun. But what I would love to see? I would love to see Darren Lynn Bousman team up with Michael Levy and let them work together on a Leprechaun movie. Do like a Leprechaun in the West, or a Leprechaun, Back in Time, or something, or some kind of really funny, Leprechaun movie. Bring back, Lyndon Porco, because I believe Warwick Davis is done. But get Lyndon Porco to play the Leprechaun, meeting Warwick Davis. Have Warwick Davis just play himself. And he's like meeting the new Leprechaun. He's like, "Oh, who's this guy?" Is he like, "Ah, fine pair of shoes you got there, me lad." Just, something little quick and funny, just for the fans, because they love stuff like that. Don't pull, a Candyman like the new one, and have Tony Todd show up at the very last damn second. Don't do that with the new one. Have Warwick Davis show up as like the Leprechaun at the end. Don't do that, because you're gonna piss off fans. But just have a little something where, Warwick Davis is in it, and he meets the new Leprechaun, and they kind of interact. As a little something funny, and he kind of walks off. Or, like I was telling, some of the producers of Leprechaun Returns, I told them, I said, Leprechaun Origins, I think if you had Warwick Davis in there at the bar, the part in the movie where the kids go to the bar, like the whole town's in there, if you had Warwick Davis in there, sitting at the table, drinking a beer or something, and laughing, going, something like that, people would instantly know, hey, that's the Leprechaun right there. Just would have been, a little something funny for the fans. Just, a little quick cameo, and have him turn his head or something and laugh and saying, "Good luck to those kids. They don't know what they're getting themselves into." Just a little something like that. But hopefully they do something with, Warwick Davis, the new Leprechaun. I'd like to see him involved in some way, even if it's just, a quick 1-minute scene or something. Just something for the fans. But if I hear any updates on this Leprechaun movie, I will let you know. But yeah, Felipe dropped out for Bob the Builder, which I was not expecting that news. Was not expecting that. Hopefully we get some updates. I would like to see Michael Levy involved. So don't forget, if you want to see a new Leprechaun, Levy for Leprechaun, tag Lionsgate Horror, or Lionsgate on Instagram. Tag them on social media. Tell them you want to see a new Leprechaun movie and you want Michael Levy involved. He's a great guy. I think he'd do a great job with the franchise. He's what we need. He's a big fan, too. So, we'll see how it goes. But don't forget, Levy for Leprechaun. I'll see you later. Y'all have a golden good rest of the day, bogerific day, whatever you want to call it. If I hear any more Leprechaun updates, I'll let you know. In the meantime, I want me gold. Have you seen me shilling there? Me gold and delicious gold. Oh. The golden card.